Morning. Today I am out here to do a bit of a product review, as I've mentioned that I would do for quite some time now, but I wanted to make sure I put these products through the paces before I did a proper review. So today I'm going to look at the 10-foot cork handle Extricator MLT rod and the Extricator 5000 FD reel from Wychwood. So I'm actually on the bank today. I get to use my 10-footers today. Lately I've been using my 12s because I've been fishing a lot bigger water. Now, I bought these 10-footers for a reason. I fish a lot of small places like I'm at today where you're going to get a lot more smaller fish than big fish, but I wanted to get something that could not only be comfortable in these small spots, handle tons and tons of smaller fish, but also know that I have the backbone and the strength to handle a bigger fish if it happens. These rods have actually done the job wonderfully for me. As I mentioned, they're the Wychwood Extricator MLT rods, cork handles in 10 foot. There's a lot that I like about these rods. As of yet, in the 3 or 4 months that I've been using them, I've not found anything I don't like about the rods. They got a beautiful matte black finish. They've got nice ceramic guides. The cork handle was the big deal. I wanted cork handle carp rods, and honestly, you can't go wrong with cork. There's nothing bad to say about it. Nothing but good things to say about cork. It's comfortable. It's just as easy to clean as Duplon, in my opinion. So yeah, really comfortable reel seats that stay locked in. They don't come loose on me at all. Another little feature that they have is a little line clip right here. I've got 2 rods out right now on the spots. I never thought I would use line clips before. I never really thought that I would need them. Yeah, I like them. I think it does help with bite indication, and I suppose that's their purpose. But using that, I think, has made a difference in me noticing bites that I wouldn't have noticed before. Now, I've had these out on a number of sessions in a bunch of different waters. A small river like this. I had them out on a relatively larger canal and a few small ponds. And I have to say, there really is no negative things I have with the rods. I didn't buy them to cast distance, and I didn't buy them specifically to help me target big fish in smaller areas. But I've had fish up to just over 24 pounds with these rods. And yeah, I played it a little bit longer than maybe I would have liked. But it handled that fish beautifully, and that was a hard fighting fish. Now, I suppose it's important to mention that these are 3-pound test curve rods. I wanted a lighter rod than my 12s because I used 3.5s for my 12s. And like I said, because I fish so many places with a lot of smaller fish, high singles to, up to high doubles, that's what I would consider a smaller fish. And these rods feel amazing with the 3-pound test curve. Casting wise, I'm not set out to cast a huge distance, but I've fished quite comfortably to 80 yards with these without an issue. I try to average around the, no more than 50 yards with most of the spots that I'm going to take these rods, and it's a light underarm flick. There really is no effort in casting these as long as you don't overload it with a overly heavy lead or pack bait or a big stick or something like that. Method feeders, if you keep your setup within the weight range of what a 3-pound test curve rod can handle, it sends it sailing. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, as I said, I've had a few big fish with these so far, mid-20s, and one thing I really, really loved about it was it's got a great amount of backbone to handle those big fish and help steer those big fish. For its 10-foot length, you would think that it would be a lot whippier, being shorter and being lighter in test curve, but I have to say, I actually prefer fishing with these over my 12-foot rods. It's super comfortable. The battle curve is amazing. And like I said, the backbone is great. So you've got about the first half, the bottom half of the rod, I'm trying to show you, up to just shy of the ferrule is pretty much all backbone. And then from the ferrule, the joint there, that's all curve. And you know, when I get some of those bigger fish in, right close to the net, and they take that last big lunge that we all dread, because that's, you know, usually when you lose the fish, this rod has just absorbed that shock. I've also made sure I've had my drag set properly, of course, but the rod really took a lot of punishment in those situations and handled it beautifully, and I was able to steer those fish into the net, no problem. Oh, just had a bump. I got some fish rising all over the bait. The lines have only been out 10 minutes, and yeah, stuff's happening. There is carpers everywhere here today. They're across from me, they're just down from me. It's going to be an interesting day. But anyway, as far as the 10-foot cork handle Extricator MLT rod from Wychwood in 3-pound test curve, absolutely love this rod and truly recommend it to anyone who's in the market for a shorter, lighter rod to get into some of these smaller places and just have fun fishing. We don't all have to be specimen hunters. If you just love going out and cracking through 10 or 15 smaller fish for a good day session, this is absolutely a rod that you will love doing that with. Now, I said we were going to talk about the reel as well. This is the 5000 FD Extricator from Wychwood. Get you a really good close look at that. This is a beautiful reel. It's very simplistic. Nice bright silver spool. Wood handle, just like the Wychwood Riot reels that I use. Very comfortable. It feels very well constructed. Like, nothing feels loose on it when you're using it. The anti-reverse is great. I love the drag. You know, that click is magical. But it's very smooth. I've had no issues, whether I'm playing small fish that go on huge tears or big fish that just stay plodding and do all their lunging at the net. This reel's handled it just fine. You know, I've got a little bit scuffed up so far in the last few months that I've been using it, because I've punished these, you know, throwing them on the ground, you know, reefing into heavy fish. These reels have really done the job. The line clip is very simple, holds perfectly. I've had no issues if I've been casting to the clip. No give or anything in that. It's been perfect. Haven't had to do any maintenance to it for the last few months, other than just occasionally wipe the gunk off of it if I'm fishing with pack bait. But the drag absolutely screams. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. Now, I've encountered one issue with having these reels, but it's not because of the reels. It's actually because of the pod I'm using, and I'm going to do a separate review on that particular pod and explain that further. And it relates to the closeness of the handles when the rods are on the pod together. As long as you've got them pointed down, there's no issue. You would think that they don't really have like an overly large handle for cranking, but it feels like it's got that like really big handle. It almost feels like you're cranking fish in so much faster than you should be with a reel this small. So as far as this reel goes, yeah, absolutely no complaints with the reel itself. Now, on this particular reel and the other two that I'm using, you can see I've got the silver spool on. I have my silver spool spooled up with 15-pound Gardner GTHD mono. Just overall, it looks great, it plays great, it feels great. I prefer using mono. But in those situations where I need braid, like if this spot was just really choked with weeds, I'd be wanting to switch to braid. And for that, I had lots of options. Believe it or not, Wychwood also did make a number of different spools that you can get. You can get the silver, you can get the black, or you can get the gold. And I've always wanted gold spools on a reel. So you can see it's got the the very simple logo there, all your information about lines, and I've got this spooled up with braid. And I have one of these for each of the reels. So I'm completely covered. And not just because I wanted gold spools, but keeping them color coded if I'm fiddling around in my bag at night and I want to switch spools in the middle of the night. Having gold versus silver to tell me which one's mono, which one's braid, was just something that was a practical option for me. But pretty much as far as the review goes, in relation to the rod, the reel, as a setup, the Extricator definitely does the job that I bought it for. I absolutely love this combination. Like I said, I can't recommend it highly enough. As of yet, I have zero complaints about the functionality, the use, the looks. Yeah, really, really great setup. And like I said, can't recommend it enough. Will you just take it? Come on. Stay out of there. Get out of the weeds. So get out of the weeds. I haven't put the net back together yet. Always have two nets. Look. And there we go. A beat up little bruiser that fought like stink. And I think that right there shows you that the Extricator setup from Wychwood is the perfect hard fighting little fish combo. But it's also got that power needed to land some of the bigger fish. As I said, I couldn't be happier with the setup. It's performed exactly how I had hoped. And as long as I keep putting fish on the bank like this, I will be a happy angler. So hopefully you got something out of the review of the Extricator MLT 10-foot cork-handled Wychwood rod, as well as the 5000 FD Extricator reel. Any questions, drop them in the comments below. And yeah, see you soon with another product review.